I'm always paranoid that the band's gonna show up or the band's getting closer. And oh shit, hang on. I'm gonna turn my Steadicam on. There we go. I think it changes screen perspective into what I call Zack Snyder perspective. If you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I feel like over the years being here, and I've told stories about this before, how I'll meet strangers who try to cozy up to me and be friendly and, you know, want to know things about me. Like just complete strangers sitting somewhere and they sit down beside me and stop me in the street. It's really weird, you know, because without, you know, getting too descriptive, I don't think they know exactly where I am, you know, right now. I mean, they have an idea of where I am, but they haven't been able to do a 15-minute check on me in a while, if you know what I mean. So I've had this thing happen to me recently. My insurance company is working with this third party. I think it's called Sigma Health. So they called me up one day after trying to get me. They were incessantly ringing over a week. So I finally got upset with them, and it's not my imagination, is it? Let's look back here. There's nobody here, just me and this little girl. And I don't know if you could tell from the camera, but she's just going right for me, drifting right for me. And had I not stopped, we would have had a little collision there. How does that happen? You know, maybe I shouldn't notice this type of stuff. I notice too many things. Some things I fucking wish I didn't notice. We have a lot of that here too, and I'll tell you what I mean about that in a minute. So I was getting a call from them like every day, and finally I checked in with them, or I picked up the phone, and I'm like, yeah, can I help you? And like, yeah, we're gonna be sending a nurse over to you for a welfare checkup. What time is good on October 11th? And I'm like, April 11th. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, we're gonna have a nurse come by and just do like a evaluation. I'm like, to my house? It's like, yes, this is something we do. I'm thinking, no, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of anything like this before. So she starts like saying, okay, we're gonna be coming this day. Just let me know what time, as if they already know like what my schedule is or something. And I'm just like, hold on. I have to figure out if I'm gonna be here that day. And I'll get back to you. And just as about a side thing, what I was talking about was the older transgender people that we have here. When I first moved here, we had like what they call here mahus, like really kind of good ones that worked hard at what they did to try to look the part. Sometimes you couldn't tell if they were guys or girls. It was like the height would usually give it away. But they're all gone now. And what we have is a lot of elderly men that are transgender, I guess, but they don't put a lot of effort into it. In fact, I did a video a couple of years ago called like low effort trannies or something. And look, I know I'm not supposed to say trannies, but that's what I used to use for a term. I mean, as a former transvestite, you know, I'm not, I don't have a problem with the term, so fuck you. So I thought it was weird that they were calling to try to get me to have them over the house. And they had the building, but what they wanted was the apartment number. They knew I lived there. And what's the apartment number on that? And when they said that, it just, it kind of triggered the fact that they want to come to your fucking house. What am I going to do? I'm going to come in the fucking back cave with all my fucking shit in there? For what? You know, and she's just kept talking and trying to steamroll me with it. Have your medication ready. I'm like, I'm only on one medication. You know, it's like, it affects her because I can't get off it. Because it's a diabolical fucking drug. And the doctor I have here, nice guy, really old though, hard to communicate with, especially on the Zoom call appointments we had. But anyway, he helped me get off of Adderall, which was on for 10 years. He convinced me that, yeah, you have heart problems. It's gonna hurt your heart. You know, you gotta do something. I got off that, and also he got me off the benzos. Okay, he was really wanting to help me there. Wanted to get me off the benzos. So I let him help me do that, and he was very have a good day, dear. And he was very interested in doing that. Once he got me off those 2 drugs, though, he forgot he did it. Every time I bring it up to him, he doesn't say anything. But he wasn't as enthusiastic as taking me off the Effexor, which was causing way more trouble than either of those other things did. For me, personally. Whenever I miss a dose, I get these things that are referred to as brain zaps. It's like if you ever taken clothes out of the dryer, that static cling that shocks your fingers, you get that in your head. Just by missing 1 dose. And if I continue not to take it, I can end up having like a mini psychotic break. It's pretty bad. So I'm stuck on this thing, and I always tell him that too. I'm like, hey, you can figure something out. And so he hears me, but he doesn't hear me. So they like you to be on the SSRIs. They want you on them. Whatever. Hey, it is what it is. But yeah. So these people want to come to my house, and I'm like, no. I have to figure out when. You know. So I hang up on them. Instantly go to the number and block it. Like, fuck that, I'm not dealing with that. So they would call and leave messages. I'd just erase them. You know, I didn't have to deal with it. So they call up my dad on the East Coast. Now, these people call like Hawaii time, they call like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, which is kind of unprofessional. But they started calling him. We're up it's midnight up there, 1 o'clock, whatever time it was. And he sent me a text. He's like, hey, your insurance company says you have an appointment tomorrow at this and that. I'm like, Dad, I'm sorry they did that. Now with me, I'm always thinking an extra level ahead. I never call anyone. No one. I text very few people. Anyone I have to talk to, I do online. I figure that shit out, you know, there's ways to get in touch with me that doesn't involve calling me, you know. So the only guy I've ever called outside of Nia, very rarely do I call Nia, only if there's like a quick emergency and I'm like, her to know something, not sure she's getting the text, I'll call her to kind of, you know, because that makes noise. So he's the only guy I've called in, I don't know, a year, 2 years, called, like rang up. And I'm like, these motherfuckers saw him calling this number and want to know who it is. You know, because when they called them, they didn't know who he was. And he was like, no, I'm his father. And once they all sussed that out, they said, oh, he has an appointment tomorrow. They just wanted to know who I was calling, who I was talking to. Because I'm fairly certain they have, you know, my phone records. I know they do. You know, I know they do. So they were watching, you know, all right, well, if these people are going to go, then I'm going to go. So, yeah, sorry. So these motherfuckers are trying to fuck with my dad. So I immediately call them back and start screaming at them, you call me fucking fireball! And she's like, no, what's your emergency medical contact? It was your emergency medical... Now, perhaps it was my emergency medical contact, but the word emergency is in that. An emergency is like they're trying to fucking, you know, figure out who the body is. Or I need a blood transfusion for my fucking, I got an arm chopped off. That's emergency. Not this, whatever, because they want to come to my house and I started blowing them off, they're going to go bother my dad now? It looks weird for my dad. Like, what the fuck is Jimmy involved in now? Because there's been more than one time in my life where people who couldn't get to me would go to my dad. You know, and I hadn't talked to my dad in about a year, right? So I called him recently just to talk about stuff, and then immediately he gets the call. So it looks weird now. It's like, did Jimmy call me the other day because, you know, it just looks suspect, you know? It makes me look suspect. And it makes me think the reason they called him is because I had just called that number, and then a couple of days later, or less, the next day, that night they were calling him. Right after I called him for the first time in about a year. Maybe a little bit longer than a year. So what the fuck is all this, you know? Now, they keep leaving messages on the phone. I'm not picking it up. Nia was telling me they do this to her parents, too. Because what it is the state, the Sigma, gets some kind of money if they show up at your house, if they can log an appointment, right? Then they get some kind of credit for it. Maybe, you know, it could be either the Goldilocks nature of this reality is that there's always a schizo option and just a regular, normal, oh, it's just this option. That way, it always gives people who you might be trying to tell something to, something schizo to, it gives them a thing where they're like, no, it's just this. Everything is like that. It's a Goldilocks shit. So, I don't know. The van, is it closing in? Are they closing the van in? I haven't done anything, that I could think of that would make them rush, the van, but, you know, who knows? I just think that whole thing's weird. Had to, put the phone away because it's raining out here. Or it's been raining on and off, so. Yeah. See how long we can go. I just gave a cigarette to a black guy, which shows you it's all in how you ask. It could happen for anybody. It's all your attitude and your the vibe I get when I'm approached. So if he can do it, anybody can. So yeah, a lot of people out here for well, it's Saturday morning, I guess that's why. Saturday mornings are usually pretty popular. Weekends, a lot of people come out. Yeah, this isn't like a Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't really usually look like this at this time. It's about 8 o'clock. So finally places are opening, right? Because everything's sealed up tight here until like, 8 o'clock. I guess there's like not a lot of money to make maybe because I'm sure these stores have gone through this. Like, is it worth it to open at 7? Is it worth it to open at 6? And like I said, it's a tourist area, you know, so it's not like there's a big job rush, you know. And the people that work here usually live outside of Waikiki, and they come in to Waikiki to work. Or usually that's how it is. There's a lot of that. A lot of commuters come in, so they got whatever they need, wherever they live before they come in here, because it's very expensive here. Like said before, I don't know how I'm doing this. Like, the math doesn't work. And I just, to the point where I just don't think of it. I take it day by day and go, all right, what's the next big thing? Okay, rent. Okay, rent's coming up. All right, gotta have that for that day. Okay, how are we doing on cigarettes? You know, it's like, that's just how it is. By the grace of God. I know I use that to as a joke a lot of times, but it is by the grace of God. I was just looking at speaking of God, Outlaw TV 88 was posting something about what he has found some old information on the earth and the nature of the realm we live in. He referred to it as like a womb. So that tripped my brain, right away. I'm like, yeah, it is a womb. Because we are the progeny of the divine. And we're here growing, hence why we have time. And the reality around you is running a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 300 and whatever, how many days a year campaign to keep you from discovering that or from knowing that. To keep you dumb, to keep you thinking that you're just a speck of, you're just a flea on the back of a dog on a water ball flying through the universe. Moving so fast, it moves so fast that you can't feel it. If we weren't trained from birth to accept dumb shit like that, you know what I mean? Can you imagine someone saying that? This isn't moving. Oh yeah, dude, this car's moving super fast. In fact, the car's moving so fast you don't feel it. And then you always get some science guy like, that's a stupid analogy. The centrifugal force and what, all that made up stuff, like gravity. You know, you can't measure it, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't even intuitively know it's there. But it has to be there. Why? Oh, because it has to be there. Or else none of this other made up shit would work if it wasn't there. Get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go before I get upset. Thanks for dropping in. If I get any interesting van updates, you know, you'll be the first to know. Until then, don't blame the teacher. 333. Blame the school.